All right, so you want to get better in chase, please should listen to this video. All right. Number one, when you're doing generators, pay attention to your surroundings. There are so many pallets and structures around you that it doesn't even make sense. The devs will not make a game like this and not put something around you to help you defend yourself against killer. All right, so just like if you're doing gens, look behind you so that way you can path better and correctly. Makes sense. I promise you. Like for example, if you're in like, I don't know, fractured cow shed, if you're doing a generator inside the main building, there's windows. There's, even if you use windows opportunity, I don't really care at this point. Just do that, right? And it's real, and just don't panic. And the reason why I say don't panic is because you got to realize, even if you're not that good and there's a lot of pressure in this community, it really is. It's all about just learning. It's all about learning. Like whether you have windows or not, I feel like you should practice without windows. I feel like you really are holding yourself back if you just rely on windows. I can use windows regardless. The reason why I don't feel like I need it because I know the game, I know the map. I have 6,000 hours, but I will say that your pathing is very important. For example, if you're doing generators, right, and as I said before, they're gonna have jungle gems, they're gonna have filler pallets, they're gonna have some unsafe pallets. When a killer or heartbeat is approaching, and you can use that indicator now, you'll be able to see that the killer is approaching you. You can see where to go. Which is why you should always pay attention to your surrounding as you're doing a generator. That way you're not just running off into the distance. So that's tip number one. Do generators. The killer will come to you. The killers see generators in red, by the way, so keep that in mind. So the killer will come to you eventually. Just pay attention and look around you. Number two, always look behind you to see what the killer is. So as the killer is chasing you, let's say the killer is chasing you right off the gen, right? Look behind you, see where the red stain is. The red stain is how you can track the killer. And I know that sounds, obvious, but there are a lot of newer players and casual players who still just look forward in life. They don't look behind them at the haters, right? They just keep looking forward. But in this case, you have to look behind you so that way you can track to see where the killer is. Experienced killers will also hide the red stain and use the moonwalking strategy to, walk backwards to try to catch you off guard, and this is usually done around like high wall loops and tiles and etc. So I would say always look at the red stain and see where the killer is. Also too, you don't want to get caught off guard. Let's say if a killer's approaching shack, there's the window, there's the window outside of shack, and then there's the door with the pallet, and let's say the killer's approaching the door with the pallet and you're by the window. I'm gonna go into this next tip actually. See if killers respect pallets. And the reason why I say this is because you could take the shack pallet or you could take the window, which I always recommend. And let's say if the killer is right there, see if they're going to respect the window or the pallet fake. The window fake, let's say I can act like I'm about to jump through shack, right? By just acting like I'm finna brush it past it and just hold it. And then see if they're gonna go inside shack and meet you inside there. And then you can just continue to loop on the outsider edge into shack. Whereas if you just take the window and you don't fake it, then the killer may just, go inside and hit you immediately. If you're around a good loop, let's say a safe loop, you want to see if the killer is gonna swing or just go around. If you pre-drop the pallet sometimes too prematurely, a lot of times killers will dodge and respect the pallet. That's basically them going on the other side, and then you put yourself at a disadvantage now because now you're at a 50-50 fast vault game, and you don't want to just do that. Some killers don't respect. They don't respect their family or their parents, so they're not gonna respect you in this game. So some of them don't respect, and you have to be careful if they just not dropping pallets, because sometimes they'll just hit you regardless, and sometimes they'll run perks that also like Spirit Fury, Enduring, etc. So you just got to be careful with that. Also too, okay, I want to get to number 4. I think I was just on number 3. I want to get to number 4. You also got to just know the pallets. There's filler pallets, there's unsafe pallets, there's safe pallets, and then there's god pallets. Filler pallets are just pallets that are not that strong of pallets, but they're just like they're around a tile. It's not that strong, but they're just around the map. And then there's unsafe pallets. There's like 50-50. Let's say if you're in Hawkins or an indoor map, which a lot of them exist. You want to make sure that you don't just drop those unsafe pallets because they put you at a disadvantage where you have to fast vault, and likely you're going to lose that because there's only so many mistakes the killer's going to make, right, at a 50-50 drop pallet. And then there's the safe pallet. Let's say you're around a car, you're around like a good rock, right, that's like really long. You always want to loop around, by the way, the stronger, longer side, not the shorter side. of the loop, and you also want a fast vault or drop pallet on the longer side. In case if you were able to make that fast vault, the killer would have to chase you around the longer side versus them just reaching over to the shorter side and just hitting you. And then there's God pallet. God pallet, just to be clear with the safe pallet, yeah, safe pallets are like the longer, like let's say a car, pallet McMillan, that's like a good safe pallet, or auto have. I just want to be very clear with that. God pallets, or let's say RPD, at the top of the stairs, there's like that one pallet that's leading towards the bottom of the stairs from the top. That's a God pallet. Killers have no choice but to break that pallet unless they're just going to get looped all day. And if you actually know how to, if these are for like experienced survivors, by the way, like you don't want to just drop every single pallet, but it's such a good pallet that you can just pretty much use that all day and chain your loops. Whereas let's say you're running and you don't drop that pallet and the killer think you're going to drop it because, it's a pallet. They actually want you to drop Shack pallet. They want you to drop God pallets because that way they don't have to worry about dealing with that. And that really hurts experienced survivors, by the way, because newer players, they're going to drop it because they're afraid of killer, but experienced survivors, the killers know that we hate when that gets destroyed. We know that. But yeah, if you know how to loop your and chain your loops, you can pretty much run that all day and never really drop it and stuff like that. Number 5, there are perks that you can use, right? There's Windows opportunity. Again, I don't mind people using Windows opportunity who are experienced. I think if you play a lot of solo queue matches, you pretty much need to know what palette is up. There's any means. Any means a very good perk. The issue with people who are brand new at the game is that they just run to yellow, quote unquote. That's basically what some people laugh in the community. They run to yellow. There's been many times where I've been in Auto Haven and the map is kind of dark, where I will run towards, let's say, the main building, and something looked like it's called Windows Opportunity. I'm thinking it was a window. I thought it was an opportunity to take that window, and I end up running straight into the wall. And there's a lot of people who do that. So what I'm saying is that for newer experienced players, you can use whatever you like. You bought the game. I just want you to understand that you should still practice what's around you and just know the map. And just understand that you should look up when you're running from killer. Just look at the pole that's sticking up from generator. They pretty much have stuff around you for you to use. And any means are pretty good. You can just, the thing about Windows is that you can only see that with 32 meters with the 3rd tier, but with any means, you can see a drop pallet anywhere, anytime. You can try to pick it up and preserve that pallet. But any means is a very good perk. Exhaust perks, I want to say the best one to use is Sprint Burst. Sprint Burst is a very good perk with Vigil as well, because you can recover from the exhaust effect and any other effects that you may have with like 30%, I believe. And Sprint Burst prevents you from getting hit immediately, even against stealth killers that sneaks up on you. Then there's also Overcome. That's pretty good with actually Windows, because let's say you get hit for the first time, you can, or at least while you're healthy, you can run to like the nearest loop and you'll get, I think, 2 point something extra seconds, as you get hit. But you got to consider, after the 6.1.0 patch nerf to survivors, they're actually taking away our distance after we get hit. So I really feel for the newer players who just started playing DBD, because they never knew how nerfed we really are, like how hard we got nerfed, even like mechanically. So, but the thing about Overcome, I will say, and I don't want to keep this video too long, is that you have to pretty much be healthy, and you're not always going to be healthy in your chases, so that perks become a bit RNG and maybe use only a certain amount of time, because you have to be healthy. And let's just face it, when you're in chase, you can't always be healthy. Okay, and then number 6, I'm going to say just play as killer. The best way to learn, and if I learned, is the way I've learned was I've seen the FOV, which is the field of view, replay as killer in first person. Survivors played in third person. Only killer that's played in third person now is Chucky. But you can also see that we're closer. Our field of view is closer as killer. POV obviously is closer, and also too is just like you can tell the pathing. You can tell most survivors don't know how to really play, so it's not really hard to catch them off guard. But you can also see where generators are in red. You can see scratch marks. That helps you track where survivors are. You know what pallets to get rid of. A lot of survivors pretty much play the same as far as So it just helps you, because as you play killer, you know what to expect. You know what survivor is gonna do, and you know what tiles are strung against you as killer, which means you'll be able to use that to your advantage as survivor. And last and not least, bro, just practice. Just practice. It's gonna be fine. If you're bad at the game and you're new, that's fine. I was bad at the game. I almost quit DBD years ago. I promise. That's how bad I was. I remember trying to get to Iridescent 1 before. I remember that. Just, you know, take your time. If you can find people in the community that's nice enough to play with you, please find them. And just tell them, hey, I'm just trying to be patient here. I'm just trying to learn. I remember I had somebody taught me back in the day. At the end of the day, the goal is to waste the killer's time. You know, and I'm not gonna get into the check spots and, you know, all this advanced stuff yet. I will have a separate video like check spots, how to chain loops, how to not just drop every single pallet, how to actually, you know, run into the next loop. Like, for example, let's say, you know, there are certain loops and setups that you can have. Let's say there's cow tree. Let's say you can fake like you're about to drop that while you're looping it, and most killers will think you are going to drop that, and then you can just connect that to the you know, TNL walls, right? But that's having confidence, and a lot of times you're not going to have that right away, just trying to learn how to play. So hey, happy looping. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it helped. Hope it wasn't too long, and hope you guys had a pen and paper and press pause and stuff like that. And if nothing else, I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe out here, and happy gaming.